Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji, to hear you.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasarahaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalan Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagunarohnatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sarvanalila Vishaka Anvitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitiname Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Devasya Sunyavadi Pashyatya Vizatarane Puncha Kalpatarabhyascha Kripa Sindhu Kevacha Padanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Hare Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rushabhanusuti Devi Pranamami Haripriya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Vivasari Gaura Bhaktam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, very good morning. Let's begin our systematic study of Vedic scriptures. In that we have Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12. Chapter 12 to 18 is the last part of Bhagavad Gita. You may have heard that Bhagavad Gita can be seen as three parts, 1 to 6, 7 to 11, 12 to 18. So in the chapter 12 to 18 is a kind of more or less a kind of a summary. But this is coming in sequence after the 11th chapter, where we discussed about the Lord's opulence, awe and reverence, and his energy. So these things. So let's begin with 12th chapter and understand more about bhakti. Why did Arjuna again want to know about bhakti? So this is what we will try to understand. So would like to read this first verse.
Prabhuji.
पर्युपासते के चापि अक्षरं वाक्यक्षरं अव्यक्तं तेषां ते देवतमः.
Mother Prabhu, is it you? Who is reading?
Sorry, bro. Just I thought that nobody hearing, so I practiced myself, but not.
Yeah, now you can read.
Okay.
Hare
Thank
Krishna
you.
Prabhuji, I think one verse from last chapter is pending, or can we?
I thought the same.
Okay.
We will cover it. Maybe. Yeah.
Okay,
Or
Prabhuji.
let's go already there. Yeah.
Maybe you read that, or the explanation maybe was it remaining? Is it?
I thought that is a summary verse. That's why I kept it next
Okay.
session.
Yes, Prabhuji, I think it is pending, I think. Last verse.
So, Venimada Prabhu, can you read this one? Can you see this?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Okay. Mat karma mat paramo mat bhakta sanga varjita nirvaira sarva bhuteshu yaksa mam eti pandava. Translation. My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. Purport. Anyone who wants to approach the supreme of all the personalities of Godhead on the Krishna Loka planet in the spiritual sky and be intimately connected with the supreme personality Krishna must take this formula as stated by the supreme himself. Therefore, this verse is considered to be the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is a book directed to the conditioned souls who are engaged in the material world with the purpose of lording it over nature and who do not know of the real spiritual life. The Bhagavad Gita is meant to show how one can understand his spiritual existence and his eternal relationship with the supreme spiritual personality and to teach one how to go back to home, back to Godhead. Now, here is the verse which clearly explains the process by which one can attain success in his spiritual activity, devotional service. As far as work is concerned, one should transfer his energy entirely to Krishna conscious activities, as stated in Bhakti Rasam 12255 Anasaktasya Vishayan Yathartham Upayunjata Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. No work should be done by any man except in relationship to Krishna. This is called Krishna karma. One may be engaged in various activities, but one should not be attached to the result of his work. The result should be done only for him. For example, one may be engaged in business, but to transform the activity into Krishna consciousness, one has to do business for Krishna. If Krishna is the proprietor of the business, then Krishna should enjoy the profit of the business. If a businessman is in possession of thousands and thousands of dollars, and if he has to offer all this to Krishna, he can do it. This is work for Krishna. Instead of constructing a big building for his sense gratification, he can construct a nice temple for Krishna and he can install the deity of Krishna and arrange for the deity's service as is outlined in the authorized books of devotional service. This is all Krishna karma. One should not be attached to the result of his work, but the result should be offered to Krishna and one should accept as prasadam the remnants of offerings to Krishna. If one constructs a very big building for Krishna and installs the deity of Krishna, one is not prohibited from living there. But it is understood that the proprietor of the building is Krishna. That is called Krishna consciousness. If, however, one is not able to construct a temple for Krishna, one can engage himself in cleansing the temple of Krishna. That is also Krishna karma. One can cultivate a garden. Anyone who has land in India, at least any poor man has a certain amount of land, can utilize that for Krishna by growing flowers to offer him. One can sow tulasi plants because tulasi leaves are very important, and Krishna has recommended this in Bhagavad Gita. Patram pushpam palam toyam. Krishna desires that one offer him either a leaf or a flower or a fruit or a little water. And by such an offering, he is satisfied. This leaf especially refers to the tulasi. So one can sow tulasi and pour water on the planet. Thus, even the poorest man can engage in the service of Krishna. These are
Some of the examples.
matpara.
Yeah,
The
go ahead.
word matpara refers to one who considers the association of Krishna in his abode to be the highest perfection of life. Such a person does not wish to be elevated to the higher planets such as the moon or sun or heavenly planets, or even the highest planet of this universe, Brahmaloka. He has no attraction for that. He is only attracted to being transferred to the spiritual sky. And even in the spiritual sky, he is not satisfied with merging into the glowing Brahmajyoti effulgence, for he wants to enter the highest spiritual planet, namely Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan. He has full knowledge of that planet, and therefore he is not interested in any other. As indicated by the word Madbhakta, he fully engages in devotional service, especially in the 9 process of devotional engagement: hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering prayers, carrying out the orders of the Lord, making friends with him, and surrendering everything to him. One can engage in all 9 devotional processes, or 8 or 7, or at least in one, and that will surely make one perfect. The term Sangha Varjita is very significant. One should disassociate himself from persons who are against Krishna. Not only are the atheistic persons against Krishna, but so also are those who are attracted to fruitive activities and mental speculation. Therefore, the pure form of devotional service is described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as follows. Annabhilashita Sunyam Jnana Karmadi Anurvrutam Anukulena Krishnanu Silanam Bhaktir Uttama. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami clearly states that if anyone wants to execute unallied devotional service, he must be freed from all kinds of material contamination. He must be freed from the association of persons who are addicted to fruitive activities and mental speculation. When freed from such unwanted association and from the contamination of material desires, one favorably cultivates knowledge of Krishna, that is called pure devotional service. Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. Hari Bhakti Vilasa. One should think of Krishna and act for Krishna favorably, not unfavorably. Kamsa was an enemy of Krishna. From the very beginning of Krishna's birth, Kamsa planned in so many ways to kill him, and because he was always unsuccessful. He was always thinking of Krishna. Thus, while working, while eating, and while sleeping, he was always Krishna conscious in every respect. But that Krishna consciousness was not favorable. And therefore, in spite of his always thinking of Krishna 24 hours a day, he was considered a demon, and Krishna at last killed him. Of course, anyone who is killed by Krishna attains salvation immediately, but that is not the aim of the pure devotee. The pure devotee does not even want salvation. He does not want to be transferred even to the highest planet, globe. Goloka Vrindavan. His only object is to serve Krishna wherever he may be. A devotee of Krishna is friendly to everyone. Therefore, it is said here that he has no enemy. Nirvaira. How is that? A devotee situated in Krishna consciousness knows that only devotional service to Krishna can relieve a person from all the problems of life. He has personal experience of this, and therefore he wants to introduce this system, Krishna consciousness, into human society. There are many examples in history of devotees of the Lord who risked their lives for spreading of God consciousness. The favorite example is Lord Jesus Christ. He was crucified by the non-devotees, but he sacrificed his life for spreading God consciousness. Of course, it would be superficial to understand that he was killed. Similarly, in India also there are many examples such as Thakura Haridasa and Prahlad Maharaja. Why such risk? Because they wanted to spread Krishna consciousness and it is difficult. A Krishna conscious person knows that if a man is suffering, it is due to his forgetfulness of his eternal relationship with Krishna. Therefore, the highest benefit one can render to human society is relieving one's neighbor from all material problems. In such a way, a pure devotee is engaged in the service of the Lord. Now, we can imagine how merciful Krishna is to those engaged in his service, risking everything for him. Therefore, it is certain that such persons must reach the supreme planet after leaving the body. In summary, the universal form of Krishna, which is a temporary manifestation, and the form of time, which favors everything, and even the form of Vishnu, four-handed, have all been exhibited by Krishna. Thus, Krishna is the origin of all these manifestations. It is not that Krishna is a manifestation of the original Vishnu Rupa or Vishnu. Krishna is the origin of all forms. There are hundreds and thousands of Vishnus, but for a devotee, no form of Krishna is important, but the original form, two-handed Syamasundara. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that those who are attached to the Syamasundara form of Krishna in love and devotion can see him always within the heart and cannot see anything else. One should understand, therefore, that the purport of this 11th chapter is that the form of Krishna is essential and supreme. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 11th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the universal form. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. I think today we'll not be going to chapter 12, if that's okay with everyone. Yeah. Because, yeah, this is a very important verse, and this is also a summary of chapter 11. And not only chapter 11, this is summary of all the previous chapters, and also not previous chapters, it's also the gist of all upcoming chapters. So, fine if we spend today on this verse. Hmm.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, because purport itself was so long, not because of the size of the purport, but definitely the Prabhupada here is emphasizing the importance of this verse, that this is the essence of whole Bhagavad Gita. What is it? Mat karma krin, mat param, mat karma krit mat paramo, mat bhakta sangha varchita nirvaira. All these words, sarva bhuteshu yah samam eti pandava. He is saying that he who engages in my pure devotional service. That is the reason now the question will come later. That's why Arjuna, after hearing all this about opulences, he wants to know about pure devotional service in detail. Yesterday in Bhagavad Gita also we see Devahuti. She After hearing about jnana, about hearing about yoga, she once again revisits. Now, please tell me bhakti in very detail. Free from contamination of fruitive activities and mental speculation. He who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life. Yesterday we were also discussing, if we want to be successful, we need to know what is the goal, ultimate goal. And Krishna is the ultimate goal. And who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. So when we look into the purport here is quite elaborate, but let's go through this. Yeah, the first thing is, anyone who wants to approach the Supreme of all the personality of Godhead on Krishna planet and be intimately connected must take this formula. So if that is the goal, the goal is something else, there are some other ways, but if you want to have the ultimate goal, reaching Krishna Loka, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna himself, one has to take up to this formula. Therefore, this verse is considered to be the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada is referring this. The Bhagavad Gita book is a book directed to the conditioned souls. So this book is apt and fit for us because we are conditioned, because we ourselves have prioritized material world to be a home. And why? Because here we think that independently I can do whatever I want, I can lord it over. So that is the reason. Bhagavad Gita is meant to show how one can understand his spiritual existence and his eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. Now here is the verse where clearly explains the process by which one can attain success in his spiritual activity that is possible in devotional service. Yeah. So now we get into further. Yeah? So this is a kind of saying what is the importance of this. Here we see that uh, one should transfer his energy entirely to Krishna conscious activities. I think now being a sadhaka for quite some time, or the one who is just started, we know at least when we reflect back, when someone says that, okay, engage yourself in 24 hours in Krishna consciousness, how many of you thought that, hey, it's impractical and it's impossible? Raise your hands. Hmm. Others had no questions. They're fully confident. It's fine. Yeah. So so this was our understanding in the past, that whenever some preacher used to come to us, whenever they used to say, "Hey, just engage yourself 24 hours," we think, how can it be possible? There will be a time where we are eating. There will be a time where we are sleeping. There will be time when we are working, and 24 hours is too much exaggeration. Maybe the person who has no other job except only sitting in a temple and doing, he may engage, but how is it possible for everyone? It is indeed possible when we ourselves understand that our activities can be Krishnaized. So just like this magnetizing, you know what is the effect it can have. Similarly, when we rub against the activities of devotion ourselves, our activities, when they get aligned, then that is possible. And here we see that anasaktasya vishayan yatartam upayunjata nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. Very few of us know actually what is vairagya, and even in that few, very, very, very few know what is yukta vairagya, isn't it? We thought only vairagya means to give up everything, just uh, mm, detach from everything, renounce everything. That is vairagya. But that is also not vairagya, isn't it? Or do we still believe that is vairagya? To detach everything, to detach from everything. Is it vairagya? Hmm? Yeah, the purport is quite long. It would really take a lot of time. The soon we are actively interacting, the soon we can go through these points. Apu Prabhu, what do you say? Vairagya means, is it only detachment? Okay, if Apu Prabhu is not available, who else want to say what did we think in the past about Vairagya?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Mhm.
Yes, Prabhuji, in the past, with this word Vairagya, we think like those who leave everything behind and maybe go somewhere in the forest
Mm.
is Vairagi.
Yeah,
Mhm.
only just
And
leaving without Vairagya, na?
and we did not ever concern that what he does after leaving, or maybe he can just roam on the streets, roam in the jungle, like no such idea. Just
Yeah.
leaving everything behind is Vairagi.
Yeah. Mhm.
Sorry.
Vairagis.
Yes, please.
Apu Prabhu?
From my understanding, Vairagya is distaste and detachment from the material things.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but Vairagya is not even that. That is only escapism. Vairagya is still not only detaching, but in that detachment, the goal is still Lord. If that point is not there, that is Falgu Vairag, isn't it?
Yes, boy.
So in our early stages, we thought that that is already a great thing. If someone is giving up everything, such a great thing. No, unless he still connects to the Lord, whether in the yogi form, in the jnani form, whatever. If he is not, if he is giving up everything and not connecting, that is called Falgu Vairag. Sindhu Mataji, getting the point? Hmm?
Prabhuji, I
Yeah.
mean, Polgubarago, what I read
Yes,
is this.
Prabhuji.
Polgubarago, what I read is this. Something is not inside me, but I am just showing it. This
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
problem. It's like a,
Yeah, yeah. You are
I'm not
saying that one
showing
still has
anything.
desires.
Mm.
One still has desires. One still is doing something, but showing externally, yeah, that he is renounced.
But Prabhuji, we did not also count in the Burger category. Suppose, not in the Vaishnava philosophy. In the other philosophies also, sometimes they don't actually grow that much attachment towards the serving the Krishna, but they only just do their dhyana in the other samadhi form or the nirakar form, whatever, where direct connection is not established in that level.
Yeah.
But sometimes we also consider them as like a yogi or whoever the showing the Vairagya.
That is more going into this voidism, right? Shunyavad.
So that's something. So for their philosophy also, it is will not it consider also like a Vairagya?
They will consider. We need to understand that's not Vairagya. They would definitely consider because that they think that is the topmost. Yeah. The essence here is that not if we do something, but if the purpose is not solved. Huh? Similarly here, when we just give up doesn't mean that okay. Um, say for example, Mauna Vratam. If someone stops speaking, huh? The purpose is not just to keep ourselves silent. Yeah, that is not the main purpose. The purpose is through that what we do. Yeah. So if someone is not talking, in Mauna Vrata, yeah, if they are keeping what is it called silence, what the word English word, then what do we do? Usually after, I mean, I have friends of mine who attended some seminar for a week. Even in Germany, they offer that you can just, I mean, once a while, I think it happens. You just enroll it, then you just go there and sit, lock yourself up in a room for a few hours or even couple of days, You don't have anything to do, no one to talk, and then the person is to start thinking so many questions and slowly comes to the point, okay, now I have time to think, and then try to correct. And of course, some people who do not connect is still not making best of it. Someone is just thinking, it's nice time, I can sleep a bit, relax a bit, detox. Yeah, this is the word that they use. It's detoxification of thoughts, of ideas. Anyway, again, sorry, just to pick up this vairagya in a sense here, our Vaishnava Acharya says that yukta vairagyam, yuktam means using our intelligence and smart, or um, uh, is not to just give up. Why should we give up when we have a great disposition of wealth in our hand? When we have so much wealth, so much opportunities, so much energy, huh? When we have everything, when so many resources are there, why should we leave them and then think, no, this is Maya. If I use them, then I will become affected by Maya, and if I become affected by Maya, I'll become conditioned. Let me not use them and go away from them. But that is not the real vairagya. And this is the topmost understanding where vairagya is needed. But what kind of vairagya is? Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. So we have to engage ourselves. It's not like, okay, now we can go for a vacation, do nothing. No, that will only give nothing. What can give value is when we understand we have so many resources in our hand, how to engage them, our own self and our resources, in the connection of activities of Krishna, for the Krishna, to serve Krishna. So that is what here we understand. So here that's what is also called Krishna karma. One may be engaged in various activities, but one should not be attached to the results of his work. The results should be done only for Krishna. For example, one may be engaged in business, but to transform that activity into Krishna consciousness, one has to do business for Krishna. If Krishna is the proprietor of the business, then Krishna should enjoy the profit of the business. So this is an example. Here we see, instead of constructing big building for his sense gratification, he should construct nice temple. So these are some nice ideas. People otherwise think, now why ISKCON is building TOVP or such a big mansions, and yeah, just imagine, there is a huge difference between if one is building for himself and one is building for the Lord. When one is building for the Lord, we are showing the gratitude. Oh Lord, we want that you please come and stay here. And of course, when that thought comes, we want to build something best of our abilities, best of our capacities. This is the work for Krishna. Instead of constructing big building for his sense gratification, he has constructed nice temples. And then yeah, and arrange for deity service as outlined in authorized books of devotional service. One should not be attached to the result of his work, but the result should be offered to Krishna. So it should be, I mean, yesterday we were discussing, now if we don't have motivation of result, how can we do something? We should have a goal. Yeah, here we see that, yeah, let's have that goal that I am doing 100%. What is the goal is not for myself, but for Krishna. That is Krishna karma or karma yoga. One can cultivate a garden, which means one can sow tulsi plants, because tulsi leaves are very important. Krishna has recommended this in Bhagavad Gita. So in that way, when we engage ourselves in active activities all the time, then it's possible that we can always be absorbed in Krishna consciousness. But if we mix up our life with picking up activities of mundane world, then all the time we are sailing on two boats, and two boats do not have the same destination. The one boat is going up, and other boat is going down. So that will only kind of create more mess. And then we come, of course, at any point, yeah, stop me. I'm trying to go a little faster because we have a few more important points to cover. We have this mat param. Mat para means refers to one who considers the association of Krishna in his supreme abode to be the highest perfection of life. Such a person does not wish to be elevated to higher planets such as the moon or sun, or even to higher planets of this universe, Brahmalok. He has no attraction for that. He is only attracted to being transferred to the spiritual sky. And even in the spiritual sky, he is satisfied with he is not satisfied with merging with Brahmajyoti. Huh? Our goal is straight. We don't want to, just imagine ourselves sitting in standing in a lift, and there are 42 floors. We don't want to stop at every floor, go out, roam a bit, and come again and take up the lift and go on. We want to have a non-stop journey to the 42nd floor. Yeah. Why? Because it could also mean that, oh yeah, this floor is so nice, this has so many things, so let's continue for a while, enjoy, and if once we get bored, then let's go to the next floor. That's not our approach. The more we think of that, the more distraction it will be. How to avoid that distraction? By engaging ourselves in the devotional service, which means even just imagine, I'm giving the example of a lift. Imagine ourselves standing in a lift, and what we are doing is we don't want to see the gallery of what is the lift, what is the floor. We just want to have a harikatha. We want to engage ourselves in devotional life, devotional service, be busy. What I'm going to offer to Krishna when I'm reaching 42nd floor? Yeah, isn't it nice that we absorb ourselves so that we are less distracted? And what are the ways of absorbing ourselves? Is hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, I think. Sakyam I missed. Sakyam, and and Atma Nivedanam. I think I missed one more. Aksharam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam,
Padasevanam, Prabhuji.
Padasevanam. Yeah. Padasevanam, Atma Nivedanam. Yeah. So these are the 9 devotional processes. If we just engage any of these, close ourselves, reserve ourselves. Maybe someone may call us as an orthodox or even fool. We don't care. We only care in what? Reaching the top goal. One can engage in all 9 devotional processes, or 8 or 7 or at least one, and that will surely make one perfect. So we don't have to worry, oh, I don't have the skills of that, I don't have skills of deity worship, I don't have the skills of how to do the vandanam, how to offer such glorious prayers like Lord Brahma did, like Queen Kunti has done. When we read those prayers, our eyes starts sorry, tears start rolling out of our eyes. I can't do that. No need of doing all this. Very simple. Uh, all the potency of all these mantras, all these slokas is invested by the Supreme Lord personally in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah, yes. In that way, when we engage in Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Vishnu Smaranam, if these 3, I think we can do anyway. It's not so difficult. Even if mind is wandering somewhere, if we can still continue this, and gradually we get to a level of purity that we can engage in this and make our life successful. Then the term comes Sangha Varjita. We may have debates for days, years, many lifetimes. Why should we do this? Is it not rational? Is it not reserving, what do you call, false reservations? Huh? Why not? When everyone is equal, why should we discriminate? We don't want to discriminate. We want to distinguish between who is good, who is bad, and with whom we should be and with whom we should not be. Why? For our own benefit and also for their own benefit. Don't we want their benefit? Hmm? Hmm? Venimada Prabhu, don't we aspire the benefit of others who do not like Krishna consciousness?
Sure, Prabhuji.
Hmm. So what are we doing? Why are we not preaching to them? Why are we not associating with them?
First, make ourselves be perfect. When we are completely that we can do something for them, then make them as Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, in Krishna consciousness, to reach a perfect level is only Uttamadhikari, right? So you're saying only after reaching Uttamadhikari, let's turn to others?
Not only Uttamadhikari, Prabhuji. For example, if you have so many desires in your heart, it is very difficult to preach them. First, control yourself, then only you can start.
Yeah, but Krishna is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that, yeah, whatever you learn, just spread it, preach. Yeah, you don't need this Bhakti Shastri title or Bhakti Vaibhav title or Bhakti Vedanta title to reach out to people and preach.
And when you are preaching, they should also accept the truth also. If they are continuously speaking against to Krishna, better to stop them.
Yes. So, but at least we should try.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is what Sangha is actually associating, not interacting. Yeah? So there's a huge difference between associating with person, yeah, and just coming across with the person, pitch your idea, see how he responds, and if he likes it, include him into the Sangha. What is Sangha? Devotional Sangha. Otherwise, we understand, okay, he's envious, so we shouldn't. This is also where we see that, right? One of the 10 offenses of the holy name. So we should not associate with the devotees and preach, associate with non-devotees and try to preach them. So here, Sangha Varjita, Anyabhilasita Sunya Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulyena Krishna Anusilanam Bhaktir Uttamam. Coming to that, we understand that pure devotional service is very important. And if we want to practice that pure, we need to understand that we should disassociate ourselves. Just imagine that a part of a body is infected. What do we call this? When an iron piece which is rusty, when we get a wound out of it, septic, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that part of the body is getting septic, and because of that, what is happening? Yeah, because of that, what is happening? The whole body will get affected, and when this whole body gets affected, then it's more dangerous. So rather, what we do, we will avoid it by taking preventive measures to stop it. So when we associate with non-devotees, what can happen is this will develop in ourselves that okay, we will also start getting the taste. Our desires, which we want to become more devotional, slowly starts fading, and then the glittering glories or glittering attraction towards material energy and resources will start developing, and then again we come to the square zero where we again think that, hey, I am the boss of this place, let me enjoy more, and get frustrated because we cannot enjoy beyond what we want, what we can. So that's why we get more frustrated. So again, this is also where Prabhupada is mentioning that it's very important. It's not that we are discriminating or we are considering them low. It's not like that. It is first for us as sadhakas to be alert who are favorable for us and who are not favorable for us in our practice of Krishna consciousness. And then the question may come, okay, what will happen if in a family setup we have some who are following devotion and who are not following devotion? Can we avoid such an association now? Isn't that a situation? Okay, but we understand that we have still the freedom, how much time we can still give for Krishna consciousness. Yeah. And if we really value our relationships, then we also have a what do you call, liberty to share our position, our interest, and aspire for our interest. So in that way, we see arrangements how we can engage ourselves more with devotees, because ultimately, only through this process we can develop mode of goodness. Because sadhu, yeah, a sant, is the one who is a devotee, yeah, and he will have all the great qualities and also aligned with the qualities of the Supreme Lord, among which one is compassion. Then what we do, we are not only doing our own bhakti, we are also praying for uh, freedom for people who are not following Krishna consciousness. In that way, it helps.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
So you said that if devotees disassociate from non-devotees, it also benefits to non-devotees. So how does it give benefit to non-devotees?
Because the more we are bombarding with Krishna consciousness, the more they get repulsive of Krishna. So you want to prove Krishna is great, and he will be ready to prove Krishna is not great, which is an offense.
Okay.
Hmm?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, just like Darwin, what he did, he was a Christian. Later, all his time, he started using that Christianity is a religion, not a religion, or it's only So that easily happens, right? So when you are, this is human tendency that if you belong to one society, one association, or one community, you always want to prove your community is great. So he was a part of atheistic community, and he wanted to prove atheism is great. And in that, calling religious religious practitioners as not, and no question of glorifying the Lord or even chastising the devotees. So that's not good for anyone, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And here Anukulyasya Sankalpam, what kind of activities we should take up, which is favorable. Sankalpa means not determination. Sankalpa means commitment, right? Yeah. What kind of commitment we have to take? Anukulyasya, which is favorable. And what kind of things we have to give up? Pratikulyasya, which is not favorable. And now one should think Krishna and act for Krishna favorably, not unfavorably. Even in devotion, we are thinking, no, yeah. And here we see Kamsa example. One may think that I am still remembering Krishna, but if I'm thinking Krishna in a negative way, envious way, it's not going to favor him. It's unfavorable. So therefore, in spite of his in Kamsa, right? Kamsa, in spite of his 24 hours a day, he was thinking about Krishna. He was considered demon because he was not interested in Krishna's uh, service. He was interested in killing him. And of course, if one is so um, if one is so much into it that he won't even kill Krishna and absorb so much, if he really come across Krishna and Krishna in his hand is killed, then only he is getting such a high benefit. Otherwise, he's only accumulating piles of sin, and he is in the Kala Chakra, he is in the karma restrictions or limitations, then leads to more suffering. A devotee of Krishna is friendly to everyone. Therefore, it is said here that he has no enemy, Nirvairina. And now, I think that was the shloka here. Yeah. Nirvaira, Nirvaira Sarva Bhuteshu, towards all the beings, having no enemy or no desire. So, a devotee situated in Krishna consciousness knows that only devotional service to Krishna can relieve a person from all the problems of life. He has personal experience of this, and therefore he wants to introduce this system into human society. So, Venimada Prabhu, here we see that, okay, why preaching and there are many examples in the history of devotees of the Lord who risk their life for the spreading of Krishna, God consciousness. Yeah. Again, in this connection, I remember this salted bread. Salt bread. Yeah, salted breads, I think. Yeah. Please, if someone has not seen, that shows that it's not like two alien thing like, okay, Haridas Thakur, Prahlad Maharaj, okay, they are already at a very, very high level, Uttam Adhikaris. So only after coming to that level, let's risk our life. No, yeah. If you see Russia, where communism was very dominant, so much dominant that what is this called KGB, what is that? Communist something. They didn't allow even. I mean, they have wiped out the God consciousness, and people who were practicing, they were terribly punished. KGB, I think, is it right? Um, and then, of course, Prabhupada's mercy and his disciples, they entered Russia in disguise of a photographer or some other ways, or a tourist. In that way, they entered, and slowly, what they were doing is they were arranging Krishna consciousness in privacy. No one observes. Otherwise, it's yeah, they are locked in jail for ages. And in that setup, there were few devotees who were caught. They were put in prison. They were tortured, terrorized. They were given all kinds of shock treatments, medicines, so that they can forget Krishna. Yeah? But they had to simply give up because the devotees were still doing japa on what? On making the japamala made out of bread, dried breads, pieces, counting 108, and still they were continuing japa. So it's not so far out. And we also come across so many Prabhupada disciples who went to different parts of the world, risking their life. Just imagine if we are asked to go to a country where there is a lot of terrorism or there is no facility, yeah, or then we think, oh, it's quite dangerous. There are only snakes, and yeah, when we were reading this, when good fortune arises, in that when Bhuvaneshwar, before the Bhuvaneshwar temple came, the whole land was, yeah, a lot of snakes were there, forest. Still, devotees risked establish a temple, which is one of the famous temples in the world. So in that way, because they wanted to spread Krishna consciousness, and it is difficult. We also, yeah, if it is so easy, I think the whole world would have been Krishna conscious already. It is difficult because the treatment that Lord wants to give to everyone is loving treatment. Change the people through love, not through force. So that is more difficult. If it was just waging wars with what is it called, swords and yeah, bombs, it would have been quite easy. Yeah, but today the world is facing so many religious wars because that is not the spirit. Religious wars is not to rub forcefully religion, but to come to this understanding with love. A Krishna conscious person knows that if a man is suffering, it is due to his forgetfulness. Yesterday, Shubha Mataji, you remember, na? What is a Dina nam? What is a Dina? Who is a Dina?
Yes,
Hmm?
yes, Prabhuji, I remember.
Yeah, one who has forgotten Krishna.
Ji.
He is the poorest person. So yeah, here we come across in such cases now. Therefore, the highest benefit one can render to human society is relieving one's neighbor from all material problems. So we may not become a prime minister or a president or some great authorities or a mayor or nothing. Yeah, at least if we can see how we can uh, transform our neighbors, at least to mode of goodness. Yeah, we may not expect okay they can become Krishna conscious from day one, or yeah, but if we can try to uh, change or to help the neighbors in such a way, a few devotees engaged in service of the Lord. Now we can imagine how merciful Krishna is to those engaged in his service, right? Because Krishna is saying, for me they are risking their life. Therefore, it is certain that such persons must reach the supreme planet after leaving that. This is what Lord is assuring. In summary, of course, this whole chapter we have come across that Lord, I mean, Arjuna is asking, can you show me your universal form, and then 400 form, and then 200 form? Yeah. So we see that Krishna is not manifesting them, but Krishna himself is expanding. He is showing these forms. Thus, Krishna is the origin of all these manifestations. It is not that Krishna is a manifestation of original Vishwarupa. We understand this very carefully. It is not that Vishwarupa is there or Vishnu is there from whom Krishna is coming. Yeah, this is a very nice point, right? Usually, most of us have grown with this understanding that okay, there is a universal form. That's why Arjuna is asking Krishna to show that form because that is the origin. No, it is not the case. It is that is a manifestation of Krishna. Thus, Krishna is the origin of all these manifestations. It is not that Krishna is the manifestation of original Vishwarupa or Vishnu. Krishna is the origin of all forms. There are hundreds and thousands of Vishnus, but for a devotee, no form of Krishna is more important but the original form, two-handed Shyamsundar. Yeah. In Brahma Samhita, it is stated those who are attached to Shyamsundar form of Krishna in love and devotion can see him always within the heart and cannot uh, see anything else. One should understand, therefore, that the purport of this 11th chapter is the form of Krishna is essential and supreme. We cannot think of a Mayavadi ideology that we think, okay, I am also a devotee or the aspiring on the Brahma Jyoti. No, personal form is the topmost level of realizing the Supreme Lord. And so again, this is still a summary. We want to understand further from this is for whom this Bhagavad Gita is spoken. It is the purport Prabhupada mentions it is for conditioned souls who are engaged in lording over and do not know real spiritual life. So Bhagavad Gita is a handbook for whom, not for Paramahamsas. Not only for Paramahamsas, maybe I should say that, but also for people who are so much materialists, who are so busy, occupied themselves with all material activities, mundane activities, relation of this world and all those things. Bhagavad Gita is for them. The purpose is to show how to understand spiritual existence and eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. And what is the process is given here. This is the summary, right? Here we see that the process is what? To worship the Lord. There is that. One should understand, therefore, the purport of 11th chapter and no, there is somewhere to engage in devotional service. Therefore, it is attempt. No. Yeah, this Navavida Bhakti point is coming, right? That is what it shows that one should engage in that devotional service. And how to do this is by understanding the technique, so to say. What is the technique? Is to scrutinizingly check, is it what I'm doing is a Yukta Vairagya, based on Yukta Vairagya or not? Because just Vairagya cannot bring us anywhere. We may only kind of get a relief. We may go kind of only mitigate for, for now, but the real Vairagya is Yukta Vairagya. So all our activities we should look up like that. And the Lord is very merciful. This is also what we understand why. The Lord is so merciful because He is going to grant us the topmost destination. No intermediate, no temporary. No temporary, no intermediate, no situations of risking again, falling again in this. No, He is taking us to His home. And then that's how the conclusion here is that Krishna's form can only be understood by his unalloyed devotees. That's why, just imagine otherwise, if we do not have all this knowledge, if we do not have all this basis, we may start thinking that, oh, Lord is some nature, some sun or water. So many ways we think, but Lord is all of them, but doesn't mean that all of them is Lord. I think Prabhupada said all belongs to him, but he is not, but not all is he. If we see sun, it belongs to him, because sun is an expansion of the Lord, but sun itself is not the Lord. The example, Apu Prabhu, you remember this about the Ford, right? Ford car. Hmm. All the cars that have a logo or what is it on them as a Ford uh, belongs to whom? Mr. Ford. If we want to meet Mr. Ford, we don't go to a car and start talking with the car. We really go to the person, Mr. Ford, and talk with him. Yeah. Okay, I'll stop here because we have again in our journey of self-discovery session. Are there any questions? Anything anyone want to add? Hmm?
Prabhuji, I
Yes.
have a question.
Mhm.
तो सूर्य चंद्रमा ये सब भगवान की प्रतिमाएं या रिफ्लेक्शंस हैं पर भगवान नहीं है
Expansions है, reflections
एक्सपेंशन
नहीं.
है पर भगवान नहीं है
Manifest.
दैट आई अंडरस्टैंड तो लेकिन जब हम सूर्य को जल देते हैं सूर्य नमस्कार करते हैं तो भी हमको बेनिफिट तो होता ही है क्योंकि वो भगवान के एक्सपेंशन
Yeah.
तो ओके तो मतलब हमको करना चाहिए ये
See, different times and ages, different ways and processes are prescribed. Yeah.
जी
So because of one's purity. Yeah. Now
ओके
just imagine if someone says, no, I can very happily hear the Gayatri mantra, so let me also do Gayatri. Let me also offer this gel to Surya Dev because I have water in my disposal. So in that way, if we just kind of think, just not having something because something is there, let's do it. No, we should see what is that is the best one thing that if I do, just one thing. Yeah? One thing if I do, then everything is served. Let's try to find out that first.
ओके राइट
Not just because I have everything, I can do what you call offerings to the Pitrulok or that, or do this or the Karma Kanda. So many things we may have it.
राइट
But just knowing them and having them doesn't give us, shouldn't make us, shouldn't decide based just on that. Should
राइट
still understand what is that one best thing. And if just doing that, everything is done, let me do that. Just like if you can visualize yourself seeing someone, yeah, doing a puppet show, or yeah, and then the show is about that eating. Yeah. So he took a puri, he put it on his forehead. He took a vada, he rolled it on his finger. He took some other food and he's putting into his ears. What will happen to the body? Nothing. Yeah, because the food has to go from the mouth.
राइट
So just because we have facility, just because we can do it, just feeling that I can do it doesn't bring anything. So it is very important to understand this, and that is what we need to follow the regulations, rules given in the scriptures. Yeah, in the scriptures, because there are so many things. Even offering all these things are also in scriptures. But what one gets from that, and what can we really do it? And that's why we refer back to this principle of that. Yeah, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. Kalau nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva gatiranyata. So it's clearly saying the importance of Harinam is the only way. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord himself, by the way, when we are talking the chapter of universal form, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also showed his universal form to Srivas Thakur. Hmm? Yeah. So that can help us to assure that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is indeed the Supreme Lord. So he, when he came, did he do all these things? No, right?
No.
Yeah. Otherwise, what will happen? Because we have these things, because I'm in a Brahmin family, I can do that. Or if I am a mayor now, I can do this. So all these things now, it's not so important. It's not that ability and capability is the point here. It is about what we have to act. What is the best thing that we should take? Even if we don't have ability, capability, Lord will give. Only thing is we should aspire for doing that.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Any questions? No? Then we close for today. Then thank you very much. पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, नंदकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
हरे बोल।
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
ప్రభుజీ
जय मधुपुरम।
నాకు ఒక చిన్న ఇది ఉంది ఏంటంటే మనం ఈ సంవత్సరం శ్రీరామనవమి చేస్తున్నామా మనం?
తెలియచ్చు, తెలియదు.
ఏంటంటే ఏప్రిల్ 6, 7, 8, 9 ఇవి
సెలవులు.
4 రోజులు సెలవులు ప్రభుజీ. ఇప్పుడు మనం దీన్ని ఎక్కువ చేసి అందరికి చెప్పి మన టెంపుల్ ని కూడా ఇన్వాల్వ్ చేస్తే దీంట్లో ఎక్కువగా చాలా పెద్దగా చేయొచ్చు. ఏంటంటే మనం శ్రీరామ నవమి రోజే కాకుండా ఒక రోజు ముందు అటో ఒక రోజు ఇటో ముందు చేస్తే మన టెంపుల్ వాళ్ళ దగ్గర నుంచి సపోర్ట్ వస్తుంది. చాలా పెద్ద ఎత్తులో మనం చేయగలం.
అంటే ఎలాంటి సపోర్ట్ అనుకుంటున్నావు?
అంటే పెద్దగా కుకింగ్ కానీ డివోటీస్ వచ్చి మంచిగా పాడటం కానీ